and then get into the classroom. Now, legal matters because government is proposing sweeping reforms to Ghana's legal education system. A new bill currently at the consideration stage in Parliament aims to end the Ghana School of Law's decades-long monopoly on professional legal training. Now, speaking on the floor of Parliament, Majority Leader Mahama Yariga revealed that the draft legislation seeks to overhaul the current legal education architecture. It also includes proposals to revise key legal governance structures, such as the process for the removal of the Chief Justice.
By the time we finish passing these bills, the legal architecture of Ghana would have received a significant overhaul. Right, Honorable Speaker, the Attorney General will also introduce several subsidiary legislation. They include the corporate insolvency and restructuring regulations, the Court of Appeal rules, Economic and Organized Crime Office operations regulations, Economic and Organized Crime Office terms and conditions of service regulations, High Court Civil Procedure Amendment rules, interpretation regulations, Judicial Service terms and conditions of service regulations, Legal Aid Commission regulations, Supreme Court rules, and very significantly, removal from office of justices of the Supreme Court rules. The President, John Dramani Mahama, is determined to fast-track legislative reforms to strengthen our institutions of governance and further entrench our democracy. The President is committed to legislative clarity with transparency when it comes to the constitutional mechanics of the removal of justices of the superior courts.
Well, as part of these reforms, the government plans to accredit qualifying law faculties at various universities to run professional legal education programs. All eligible candidates will then be required to sit for a standardized bar examination, ensuring a level playing field. Majority Chief Whip and Member of Parliament for South, Roxanne Nelson Dafiamekpo, speaking on PM Express with my colleague Vance Mensah, described the current legal education system as compromised and said the reforms are long overdue.
Let every faculty accredited to run the academic programs, the LLB programs, let them be accredited or licensed, so to speak, to train their own lawyers.
So they'll also, the bar, you can sit there.
So we have one bar exams, which could be conducted twice a year. We have one in January and we have one in July. When you pass it in January, you are called to the bar sometime in March or April. When you pass the June one, you are called sometime in October or September, October in the same year. So that we can have as many lawyers as we want.
So for your purpose, just break it down. So University of Ghana
will become, already the faculties are calling themselves law schools anyway.
Yes.
What becomes of a law school when you can't train lawyers? So we want the faculties to be converted into law schools.
So my part one, part two, if I'm in KNUSC, I'll just write it there.
Thank you. No, you don't write it there. You are trained. So you do the academics. KNUSC, I think they do 3 years academic.
Yeah.
LLB, if you are from SS, 4 years. If you are postgraduate, post-LLB, you do 3. Then, depending on the content of the professional training, it can be 1 year, 1.5 years, or 2 years maximum. If somebody is so focused, the person should be able to complete it in a year because it's practical courses. When you are ready, you sit for the bar.
Okay. Anywhere?
Anywhere.
You don't have to come
but
to
the bar exams will be conducted by the GLC.
All right, so clearly some clarity is being brought on this particular matter. But the key matter is that government has taken a decision to reform this particular sector and make it available so that law faculties can now, the monopoly enjoyed by the Ghana School of Law is, is broken. Mr. Ansasara, you once directed the Ghana School of Law. This is government position to make legal education decentralized. Is it a welcome development for you? As we also speak to the other panel on the show.
More than welcome. Very progressive. Very, very, very progressive. More than welcome. In fact, when I heard the news this morning, I was so delighted that in my lifetime, monopoly of the Ghana School of Law, as well as the University of Ghana Faculty of Law, will be broken. In fact, this breaking of monopoly dates back to 2000, when the General Legal Council took the bold step to establish law faculty at Kwame Nkrumah University of Science and Technology.
Right.
Not only that, we followed it up by establishing a faculty at the University of Cape Coast, and then proposed to set up another one in Wa or Tamale. And then for the Western region, the General Legal Council was prepared, to establish a law school in Sekendi, Sakuradi. So I'm very happy, you can, say for, my voice that the ecstasy is so high. It's not just a breaking of monopoly, but I mean, it's progressive to have only one law school. In 2008, while I was on leave, an attempt was made to establish a second law school in Kumasi, and then somehow the General Legal Council, differently constituted, changed its mind and made it a satellite campus of Makola. I mean, we will not grow, when we locate everything in Accra. So I'm very, very happy.
All right.
I'm very, very happy.
Let me bring in the president of the National Association of Law Students, Hassan Asari. Hassan, is this a news that gladdens your heart?
Sure. I mean, but there's one thing that Pierre Macron said that I should caution. See, the General Legal Council should be abolished. And if the president has in mind resetting legal education agenda for Ghana, the obnoxious system that has been woven around the neck of the General Legal Council must be broken.
All right.
So,
I just wanted to allow Mr. Sansa, if you can hold in briefly for me, because I've come to ask you about quality, because that was the main concern for former Chief Justice Sofia Akufu, who says that, opening it up may compromise quality. But Hassan is the president of the Students Association. Hassan, let me ask of your opinion as far as this matter is concerned. Is this a development that gladdens your heart?
Very much so. After joining 2 demonstrations and organizing one and being a petitioner in one of the cases, I think this is one of the best news that we can applaud. Now, the problem is, how do you have 14 or 16 faculties, I'm not sure, but between 14 and 16, and keep one Ghana law school or school of law? I believe that it is long overdue. And it's so painful that some of the times when we're fighting for the expansion of legal education, people in government were gaslighted. Some of the issues were, I think you remember, they have this law village around UPS. They
Right.
carried excavators and other things there to show us that they were going to do something.
I was
nothing
actually there.
done.
I was actually there on the day that the president cut the sword and gave 11 months
Thank
period for work to complete. And the place as we speak now has turned into a bush.
Thank you very much. So the question becomes, did they really have the interest of the students at heart? And I believe that our advocacy is beginning to yield results. Now, if you look at the GLC in itself, I feel it should be dissolved. And I support Lawyer Ansari on this one. Because listen, in 2021, when we went for the 499 demonstration, it was a case about retrospective decision that was taken. Everybody on that board knew that it was bad, but they held on to it, ensuring that 499 students were not admitted. Now, if you have the competencies of a lawyer and you've even been promoted to a judge, I think you should know better, and you should be pushing for the interest of the country, except to please a few, which in my opinion is not right. So I feel it's a step in the right direction. The second bit is you have a lot of law students traveling outside the country. This is foreign exchange that we need to take out there to go to school, to come and do their post-call in Ghana. So I believe it's the best thing that can resolve most of our problems now. Now, when you even cross to Makola, or when you pass that exam and enter Makola, you don't become a lawyer. It is only at the point of exit, when you pass those papers, that you become a lawyer.
Right.
So I feel if they open it up to all the faculties, it is the right step. And if we all take a common exam and then we pass, we are confident about it. However, I think I need to put in this quickly. Accreditation must be strict. Now, if you are the one accrediting those faculties and you put in systems to ensure they need to live to some standard,
right,
and you ensure that that happens, you don't have reason to say that it will be diluted. I don't believe in that system. If it's diluted, then those who are responsible for accreditation are not doing their work well. Because if we go with strict rules, that should work automatically. Now, I want to just finish with this one, that this is according to law. It's a provision of law in Article 25. You'll find it in 25.2. It says, every person shall have the right at his own expense to establish and maintain a private school or schools at all levels and of such categories and in accordance with such conditions as may be provided by law. So if you make the law and ensure that they are going according to what is expected of them, I don't see why this has delayed till today. But I think this is applaudable, it's commendable, and we are ready to support them at every level.
Mr. Hassan, sorry, I mean, Hassan makes a very good point. How do we ensure quality? How do we ensure that, the accreditation process is such that the best, the highest standard will be adhered to by the faculties?
Yeah, thank you very much. That's why I said the General Legal Council should be abolished. A proposed National Council for Legal Education established, to prosecute the further conduct of legal education. So the maintenance of standards by way of quality rests basically not only on the agency that will drive the legal literacy program, but the personnel. You see, our problem in this country is that, oftentimes the people with the expertise, the requisite knowledge to, deliver goals are not put there. So, General Legal Council is supposed to present legal education. The Ghana School of Law itself, since 1958, has not been backed by law. So everything it does is, at the whims and caprices of, the chairman of the General Legal Council or the Attorney General. Number two, when you have, a law school that itself has not been accredited, but it's rather accrediting, it becomes a farce, So if we are, we are a serious nation and want to overhaul our professional law program, the first thing to do is to abolish the General Legal Council, establish a National Council for Legal Education. If we have 30 law faculties on rotational basis, every 2 or 3 years, there must be, 12 of them constituting the National Council for Legal Education, together with the Attorney General, the Chief Justice, and get, people of integrity and honesty to run the agencies, to superintend the exam. It's not just, what is going on today that if you know somebody, you go and pay 30,000 cedis, then you are called to the bar. I don't subscribe to that.
All right, let's...
The maintenance of standards is the rest on you and me.
All right, we'll leave it here for now. What is instructive and more welcoming is the fact that the majority chief whip says that the bill will be introduced to Parliament under a certificate of agency, meaning that it will not end up as one of those on the shelf, but will be passed as early as possible. We'll leave it here. Mr. Hassan Sare is a former director of the Ghana School of Law. He fully supports this new drive by government. Of course, we also heard from Hassan Sare. He's the president of the Ghana Law Students. We'll take a short break here on The Pulse. And The Pulse, as always, is brought to you by Defend Drill. Defend Drill help you with, if you have cough issues and you are unable to breathe, what Defend Drill does is that it helps you to breathe very well and very easy. When we return, we'll go in search of the Ashanti Regional Chairman of the MPP, Bernard Jibu Wuntu, because his family appears not to know where he is. When we return, we have answers for you.